Hello, everyone, and welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphries, joined again by Gage Bertovich. Gage, we're going to week 2 right here. Week 1 was here last week. It was exciting. We're back at football. My team got a win. Your team got a win. And, we'll go over the picks here in a little bit. But, man, how are you doing after such a crazy week in the world altogether?
Yeah, it's been a week. That is for sure. But as far as football is concerned, great week. I'm 1-0. You're 1-0. Picks wise, I'm in third. But you know what? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the only thing that matters is that 1-0 record. So I think we're doing good. It was great to see Buffalo make a comeback, beat Baltimore Sunday Night Football. And it was kind of a little bit different for our games. I'm used to a defensive battle. You're used to an offensive battle. And it really feels like the tie switched here a little bit.
Very much so. You talk about a contrast in styles for both of us. Your team, known for the defense, they pay well on defensive side of the ball. They bring Rodgers in. Especially both of these teams, actually, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets, both are supposed to be defensive teams, and they both put up 30-some plus points in an exciting football game. And then we just won't talk about the Bengals. We could talk about the Bengals, but let's not talk about the second half and the 7 yards that they had for the whole half. Let's just not even bring that up.
But I think if you're going to go off of that, the Browns not being able to capitalize on that is probably the most Browns thing ever.
No doubt about it. Drop passes, missed extra points, missed field goals, and the Bengals hang on. They hang on to win a game. And, I wasn't sure that was allowed for the first 2 weeks of the season for the Bengals to win a game, but they did it. They pulled it off. Zach Taylor is now 2-11 in the first 2 weeks of the season. So congrats to Zach Taylor on the elusive second win.
Well, especially in week 1 against a team that isn't supposed to be good. I didn't think he was going to pull out the win. I thought it was going to be like last year against New England, where it's supposed to win, doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's what it had, the kind of vibe to it right there too, And they're like, hey, we fixed it. We played in the preseason, so we're ready to go for week 1. Maybe just play all the preseason games. Why not at this point?
Well, gotta tell you, some teams play preseason, some don't. If you're Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you stay here, don't play preseason because you looked phenomenal in week 1. Now, previous years when you've had, Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trashcan-Bisky, maybe you should play the preseason. But I was all about, why don't they play him in the preseason? Let him get a little connection, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad you didn't, especially behind that offensive line. Rodgers might die this season. So
yeah, but he turned back the hands of time there. I mean, he looked like the old MVP Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he was phenomenal Sunday. And Justin Fields didn't look too bad either over there. So, maybe both teams benefit. And what about the comments he made after the game where he kind of threw a little shot towards Aaron Glenn there, I believe.
Shot towards Aaron Glenn and the Jets in general, just by saying I'm glad to beat anyone associated with the Jets. I was like, whoa, all right. I like this style of Rodgers. He seems comfortable. He seems to get along with everybody, and he seems happy and healthy. For a 41-year-old, he can't really move, but man, can he still sling it.
And that's all you really need to do. If you could protect him, like you said, they may get him killed for the end of the season. But if you can protect him, he's still got the arm back there to kind of sling it around a little bit.
Well, if I'm Broderick Jones, they just moved me back to where I played in college, and Will McDonald just bullied me on the defensive line. I would be bowing at the feet of Aaron Rodgers and apologizing to this man up one side and down the next. First play of the game, you go play action, bam, Will McDonald's right through there, sack, sorry about it, what's next? But yeah, 1 or 2 more sacks in the game for Will McDonald against Broderick Jones. I don't know what his deal was. Maybe it was just week 1, I'm back where I'm used to be, but I'm, got to get back into the swing of it or what, but I was not a fan of that.
And what about everybody had Aaron Rodgers to Ben Skowronek for the first touchdown of the Pittsburgh Steelers season, right? Everybody had that on their bingo card, for sure.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that you parlayed it for the second touchdown of the season, being Aaron Rodgers to Jonnu Smith as well with that. And if you did, I want part of your win.
Yeah, because, everybody had that, of course. So, the odds must have been bad since everybody had that, right? It wasn't like plus 2,200 for Skowronek for the first touchdown or anything like that.
And if you somehow guessed all 4 touchdown scorers, being Ben Skowronek, Jonnu Smith, Calvin Austin, and Jalen Warren, on receiving touchdowns, quit your job, go play the Powerball, even though I know it was just one here the other night from 2 residents, but go play the lottery and split the winnings a little bit. Go donate it to charity.
And right now, Thursday Night Football is going on. The Packers just scored a touchdown. Tucker Kraft, 23-10, Green Bay, pending extra point. There's been a couple of doinks already in this game by the kickers. The kicking so far in week 1 has been a little sus. The Browns kicker, man, and the Bengals. He kind of saved the Bengals a little bit there the other day. The defense didn't play bad, but the Browns didn't help themselves at all during that game, especially in the second half.
No, but if he makes just one of those kicks, different ball game, probably. And then you talk about bad kicking. 49ers said bye-bye third-round pick Jake Moody. And did they sign someone? I have no idea.
Eddie Pinheiro. Pinheiro. They signed him. Yeah. So
I feel like he's known for some misses in his career. So I'm not too sure he was the one to bring in, but all right.
Well, if I'm the San Francisco 49ers at this point in time, I'm not cutting anybody because they're probably going to end up injured anyways. I mean, look at Kittle's out for a few weeks. Brock Purdy's now out for 4 weeks. Christian McCaffrey is a game time decision seems like every week. Brandon Ayuk's still out. It's like, man, I would just hold on to everybody you can right now. A 3rd-round pick for a kicker, give him another week, I would say, at this point in time.
Well, my favorite part is you got Christian McCaffrey, game time decision. He's dealing with this injury, dealing with that injury. And then you give him, 20 touches? Half of them being catches? I don't know who's trying to run him into the ground, but stop, because it's not nice of you.
Yeah, I don't know what Kyle Shanahan's doing to the boys out there, but it's not good.
I know a lot of people clown the Steelers for hamstring injury. At least our players aren't out multiple weeks with hamstring injuries. Your players are dying on the field, and nothing's said about that.
And it's like the same guys every time, too. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy's had a few injuries. Like, he signed the big contract over the offseason, and all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm fine. I've got turf toe. Sorry, guys. I can't go.
But, we want to go to the good side of kicking. Chris Boswell sitting a new career-long 60-yarder to give him the game-winning kick against the Jets. That thing was good from 70.
Yeah, 60 yards like it was nothing. Just like, hey, this is just what I do. Like, no problem at all.
Gotta tell you, it feels pretty good to have a really good kicker on your team.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals have got a kicker. So, he's they used to call him Money Mac, and I'm like, I don't know. He wasn't very money last year, so we'll see how he is this year. But he didn't screw up a whole lot.
Well, you could say he's very, what's the word the kids use these days?
Mid-Mac. That's his new name, Mid-Mac.
Mid-Mac. I like that.
So you mentioned it earlier, but man, the Sunday night game, how awesome was that? Once again, I don't know how many times I got to say it on this. Lamar Jackson was in postseason form, right? He choked again in a big game.
To be fair, I will give it to Lamar.
Yeah.
He did not play horrible. It's surprisingly Derrick Henry, you could say, is the one that costed him the game.
Yeah, Fogel.
Who would have thought that?
Nobody. Was it Zay Flowers or Rashad? Who had the? Was Zay Flowers one had 143 yards receiving?
Yeah, it was Zay.
Yeah, he had a big game. They had a great game offensively, and then 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they're like, "We're good. 40's got it." No, it doesn't.
But give it all to the Bills too for keep on fighting on, and Josh Allen for calling out Bills Mafia after the game for leaving early.
Yeah, they were leaving, and then Collinsworth's like, they're probably trying to get back into the game now after that touchdown. But what about the 40-some-year-old kicker that wasn't even a part of the team until a few days earlier, Matt Prater comes out and kicks the game winner?
That a good test for your 3-day-old kicker.
Yeah.
To run him out, you have Allen take a knee, no timeouts, and then you're just like, all right, go.
Yeah.
Prater's like, I haven't even had any cardio recently, but all right, I guess here we go.
I don't even know half of my teammates' name, but you know what? I'm going to go out here and swing the game winner like it's nothing. And then they're like picking him up, carrying him off the field. That's great.
I don't know who my holder is, but man, you better make sure them laces are out.
Yeah, laces out, always. No matter who the kicker is. Oh, man. So is there anything else that kind of interested you over the week one? Like J.J. McCarthy, did he impress you? Because I really wasn't impressed with that game. Man, that was a bad game to watch.
J.J. didn't impress me until the fourth quarter. I was impressed for 25% of his NFL debut. But outside of that, no, I agree. That game was pitiful. It was just not a good game. And I think last week we thought it was going to be a great game, and boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, we was. We knew Sunday night was going to be good. I didn't think we anticipated it to be that. But Monday night, we're like, Monday night's got a good shot of it. The Chiefs last week. What about the Chargers just taking it to the Chiefs?
And you know what? I will take all the credit on that one and say, you're welcome, NFL. Someone had to predict the Chargers beating the Chiefs, and boy, am I glad it happened, because I did not think it was going to.
I didn't think it was either, and you went 1-0 there, which brings me to our picks for last week. Gage goes 9-6. I go 10-5. And newcomer to the podcast game here on Yelling from the Couch, Gordon. Gordon goes 11-4. He's on cloud 9 right now because the Packers dominated the Lions and are pretty much dominating the Commanders tonight. It's not fair. He's got too much going on for him right now.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big fan of that. I think we need to just flip the numbers around, make it 4-11 instead.
Yeah, you can't come in here all hot like that with winning streaks. You've got to take your lumps like we do every week on this show.
Yeah, but you know what? The good thing at the end of the day, we're all above 500, and I know last season that is all we strived for. So we'll take it.
That's true. We didn't have too many weeks where we both went under 500, so we're all above 500. All three of our teams won last week. They're 1-0. Gordon's team's about to go 2-0. And they look pretty good right now. I mean, I kind of hate to admit it, but the Packers look pretty good defensively and offensively. Not too bad. Kind of scary a little bit.
It's very scary because I don't think anyone would have expected this, especially week one against a team that was very good last year, and turn around a quick game against another team that was, very good last year. So maybe what I said here a couple weeks ago, Jordan Love, 27 Super Bowl run.
Yeah, you did say that, and I think that stat was wrong when I read that one time. They said that Brett Favre, when he was 27, they went out and got Reggie White. Aaron Rodgers, when he was 27, they went out and got Charles Woodson. And Jordan Love, when he's 27, they go out and get Micah Parsons. I don't think the Aaron Rodgers one's true, though. I think they got Woodson before that, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, there's a trend there. There's a trend. And it's not good for us. I mean, it's good for Gordon. I mean, man, he's also a Ohio State fan too. So I mean, he just won a championship last year. It's like, calm down, Gordon over there. Calm down.
Yeah, actually, he's not allowed to have any happiness right now. Let's back off a little bit on that.
Yeah, coming in all hot like that. Like, settle down, dude. And Green Bay's got the ball again, driving.
And Charles Woodson went to Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was 23. He was not even starting yet.
Okay, so see, that you've got to watch the internet here. They give you fake news sometimes, and sometimes people fall for it. But I caught it. I caught it before you looked it up. I knew that wasn't right. But it sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound good. Rodgers played 2 games that season, went 6 for 15, 46 yards, and 2 first downs.
Yeah. So, Gage, that's going to bring us now to a popular segment here on the show, and that is
from turf to tears. It's injury fears. Who's sidelined this week in Gage's fantasy sphere?
Gage, who's injured on your team this week in fantasy?
Yeah, you know what? This is very unusual. Last week said no one was injured going into week 1. This week, again, nobody's injured going into week 2. I don't know what's going on. I'm also not arguing. But I like to think that the football gods have said, you know what? These two are doing a special segment on the show for injuries. Let's give them no content to use. You can't clip this. You can't put it on YouTube Shorts. You can't put it on Instagram Shorts because it's not exciting. This is actually very sad. There's a good waiver wire, too. Like, I don't want someone to get hurt, but if someone could, be day-to-day or, a game-time decision, that would make for a little bit better content.
Yeah, I mean, we both were like, man, by week 2, this segment's going to be popping. Like, there's going to be all kinds of injuries on Gage's fantasy team. He lost because, George Kittle lost a pinky toe out there during the game, and then he's got to replace him. But No, man, nothing's going on right now. So everybody's healthy, and it's weird.
It's very weird. I'm not sure what's going on. Not sure what world we're living in to where that happens. But yeah, I'm very sus about it.
So we've been kind of accused on this podcast of being a little sloppy at times. So I figure next, Gage, we're going to come up with another segment here, and we're going to do...
And now, it's time for Slop or Not.
Yep.
So, slop or not? I'm going to give out a few scenarios. We'll say if it's slop or not. The Bengals offense last week against the Browns in the second half. Was that slop or not?
Well, let's break it down here a little bit. What was it, 7 total yards in the second half? Give me slop.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was definitely slop. I don't know what that was. I mean, the Browns may have the Bengals number, whatever, yada, 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 who cares? But still, come on, you've got to do better than that. All right, for the next one here, how about Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott last week? Is that slop or not?
See, this is where I would go spit or not, and I would say spit. But I'm going to, call it a slop.
Yeah, it's slop. And did you agree with his suspension? He didn't get suspended. They said his suspension was being kicked out of the game. I think that's fair.
I think that's fair, too. I mean, you didn't play a single actual, offensive, defensive snap, so you basically were suspended for week 1. I think it's fair. My hatred of the Eagles says he should have been given a 6-game suspension, but I know they weren't going to do that.
And then for the final one I'm going to go with here, Travis Kelce knocking out Xavier Worthy. Is that slop or not?
Let's see. You got some friendly fire. Worthy was back at practice today, so there is potential to play this week. I don't think it's going to happen, so give me the 3 times slop.
I'm also going to go slop too, only because of the conspiracy. Taylor Swift was on the New Heights podcast with the Kelce boys, and she got really excited about Xavier Worthy being drafted to the team. And they were like, maybe the wheels were spinning in Kelce's head, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to take this guy out right here, right now. Give me slop on that.
How do you think that went after the game? Taylor, call him up and be like, why would you do that? I can't believe you would do that, OMG.
Then she'll just realize that Kelce's just a big old meathead and be like, oh, I didn't know he was there, and then she'll be like, oh, he's so cute, look at him, and then go right on about it.
She might have to write a song about how your lover hurt a friend. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, whether he's worthy or not of her love, you never know.
That was good.
All right. So that's we're kind of workshopping that segment there a little bit, but hey, slop or not,
always slop.
So let's go get into the picks. I mean, we talked last week we were going to get into a little baseball. No, we weren't getting into baseball. Baseball's over. Oh, wait a second. Is baseball over? No, we're not talking about baseball. We're not jinxing anything right now. Let's just get into the picks. NFL Week 1, Week 2, actually, right now. We're in Week 2. Gage, let's start off with, let's see, where should we start off here? There's a bunch of games going on. Let's go with the Cleveland Browns traveling to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens at 1 o'clock on CBS. Baltimore is 11.5-point favorites. Gage, what do we think about this one here?
After what we saw last week from both of these teams, the Browns defense looking great. Myles Garrett right back to what he's doing, being very violent on the field. But the Browns offense, it was hit or miss. Joe Flacco at quarterback, you're going to get that. You're going to get hit or miss. Now the Ravens offense, like we mentioned, did very well. You put up 40 points, you probably should expect to win. However, the defense did great for a while. You held Buffalo to 25 points. And then Derrick Henry fumbled, and the wheels on the bus literally fell off. Both of these teams coming in 0-1, looking for their first win of the season. I'm going to give it to the Baltimore Ravens, but I believe Cleveland will cover the spread. So give me the Ravens, but give me the Browns cover.
Both teams last week had a 1-point loss. In kind of heartbreaking fashion, I guess. I mean, one team blew it, and one team just couldn't get over the hump to win. Cleveland's defense looked great against Cincinnati. They were in Burrow's lap all game long, especially in that second half. Will they be able to get to pressure Lamar on Sunday? I don't know. Maybe. But Baltimore collapsed against Buffalo, leading by 15 points, and it just continues a trend for this Baltimore Ravens teams in big games. I know I say they choke a lot, and they do, but man, it, like you said, it wasn't Lamar's fault this time. This is more of a Derrick Henry fumbling thing, and I don't know what they were doing. Buffalo just kind of stepped up. It's going to be a close game, I think. I'm with you here. It's a divisional game, but Baltimore's going to be angry, and they're going to want to pour it on Cleveland, I think. But I don't think they will. I think Cleveland will keep it close. Flacco didn't look too bad last week. They couldn't get a running game going, but Quinshon Judkins, he's questionable. They just signed him. But I think the Ravens win this game. I think the Ravens win by, we'll say, a touchdown in this game. I think it's going to be closer than what people think. I'm with you on that. Give me Baltimore. Gordo also has Baltimore winning this game as well. So nobody's on the island yet out there. So that's that. But,
I don't know if we're ever going to pick Cleveland to win. So
yeah, I'm not really excited about picking Cleveland to win anytime. So, yeah. Our next game we're going to head to, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars coming into Cincy to face the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are a 5.5-point favorite. Gage, what do we think about this matchup here?
Well, I will say the Jaguars kind of shut me up a little bit last week. I was high praising Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Maybe it had something to do with just having Teteroa McMillan on my fantasy team. But the Jaguars came out and just said, nah, we ain't doing this today, and just put a whooping on the Panthers. Do I think they can do that against the Bengals? No. I think Burrow, Chase, and everybody will actually be able to figure it out, and Bengals will come out with a win. So give me the Bengals here. They move to 2-0, tied for first in the division, as we'll talk about later. And, give me the Bengals, give me the points.
Yeah, Sunday's game was just not good for the Bengals. And like you said, Jacksonville looked pretty decent. They handled Carolina pretty easily. Travis Etienne did so good that they're like, Tank Bigsby, we don't need you anymore. We're going to send you off to Philly. So, I mean, they sent him off. But there was some, Brian Thomas Jr., he didn't have a real big game for Jacksonville. Travis Hunter had a few catches out there, played a few snaps on defense. They said he's going to play a little bit more. I don't think this would be the game where you put Travis Hunter at corner. I'm just saying, I don't think you do that after he's playing offense the whole time because of guys like Chase and Higgins. This team is going to be a little bit better than, Jacksonville's defense isn't going to be as good as Cleveland. Cincinnati's going to get it figured out this week. I think that they have a big home opener. Cincinnati wins. Cincinnati covers this spread right here. And Gordon also has the Bengals covering the spread as well. So he's got the Bengals winning it. So
once 2 for 2, everyone agreeing.
2 for 2. I wonder how far this will go here. You think it'll go very far? You think we'll go picks all the way through?
No, there is absolutely no.
Our next game we're going to talk about here, and it is the New York Giants traveling to Dallas to face the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a 5.5-point favorite in this game. Gage, what we got?
Man, how bad the Giants looked last week with Russell Wilson.
Horrible.
I tell you what. He completed 43% of his passes or something abysmal like that. What did I predict last week? Like week 5, Jackson Dart would be in there. It might be sooner than that if Russ keeps this up, especially against a Micah Parson-less Cowboys defense. You might see a little bit of Jackson Dart this game. Never know. But I can't go against the Cowboys in this one. The Giants just aren't there yet, I don't believe. So give me the Cowboys, give me the points.
Yeah, Dallas last week played Philly pretty close. Now, Jalen Carter wasn't out there. That's why Javonte Williams looked so good out there because he didn't have to run against that. And then, like you said, the Giants were just horrible last week under Russell Wilson. I mean, they couldn't do anything out there. You predicted Jackson Dart being the starter by week 5. It's going to happen before that. It's got to. Brian Daboll's fighting for his job. His best option is Jackson Dart at quarterback at this point in time. Russell Wilson doesn't have it anymore. He hasn't had it really since he left Seattle. He's shown some flashes here and there, but, man, it's not working in New York. You've got some key players over there that can help out Jackson Dart a little bit. You've got to go with the rookie. Until they go with the rookie, it's not going to matter. Give me Dallas in this one. I think Dallas wins. Gordon. Also, he puts down that he picks the Cowgirls in this one, so he's got Dallas. So our next matchup, we go to the NFC North, and we've got the Chicago Bears facing the Detroit Lions. Detroit is a 6.5-point favorite. Gage, both these teams were very disappointing last week. Who you like in this one, though?
Yeah, both teams very disappointing. Not what I expected at all from either team last week. But this is one of the revenge games. Ben Johnson looking to get back at the Lions. I think it happens. I'm going to go with my upset pick of the week. Give me the Chicago Bears in this one, and give me the points, obviously, with that as well.
Detroit looked absolutely horrible last week. Raising the question, is it the coordinators that had all the success last year, or Dan Campbell? We really don't know yet. It's just a small sample size. Ben Johnson. They have a pretty decent first half or so last week for the Bears, and then kind of collapsed towards the end against Minnesota. Caleb Williams didn't look really that good, and I don't think Caleb Williams is really that good, his whole career so far. It's early, whatever. But they couldn't get the running game going or anything last week for Detroit. Goff couldn't push the ball down the field, so they need to get that running game going with the two-headed monster, Gibbs and Montgomery, catching passes out of the backfield. But Ben Johnson knows that team really well. And, man, it's funny that you picked it as your upset because I've got wrote down my upset pick is the Bears. So I'm going with the Lions in this one just to deviate a little bit. I'll take the home favorites. I think Detroit wins. I think Chicago covers. And Gordon also picks the Bears. So, man, we're all on the same wavelength here, but I'm going different just because.
We could have kept this going a little bit more with being on the same page, but no. Brent's got to be different.
Got to jump out on the man. We can't go 15 straight picks with everybody getting the same one here. We've got to separate a little bit. People's gonna be like, okay, they're just gonna agree on everything. So I'm going different. Dan Campbell finds it again.
But you know what? We didn't do this for the first couple games. Here's a fun fact for you for this game.
I didn't even do my fun facts.
For this game, focusing on Jahmyr Gibbs, you mentioned catching passes out of the backfield. Last week, he had 10 catches out of the backfield for 31 yards. That is the record for the least amount of yards on double-digit catches in NFL history. Good job, Lions and Jahmyr Gibbs, on setting a record.
3.1 yards per catch. That's amazing. So that'll take us now to our next matchup, and it is the New England Patriots traveling to Miami to face the Miami Dolphins at 1 o'clock on CBS. Miami is a 1.5-point favorite at home. Gage, Miami was absolutely horrible last week. We'll talk about the team that beat them after a while. I mean, because you may have some words to say during that. I'm not wrong, but who do you like in this matchup right here between these two teams?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to talk much about it, but the Dolphins made me rethink everything I knew about Week 1 football last week. Patriots, you know what? They're the Patriots. Dolphins are going to Dolphin. Tua absolutely looked horrible. Tyreek Hill, we don't know if he's going to stay in Miami, go to jail, or get traded to another team. So give me the New England Patriots in this one. Also an upset, but not nearly as much as the last one.
Yeah, the Dolphins, what was that last week? That was horrible. They couldn't do anything at all. And Tyreek's over there throwing fits on the sideline. Like you said, he may have bigger problems off the field. The Patriots, on the other hand, they played in a pretty tight game, but Vegas ended up beating them. Drake May had 287 yards passing, so there's something to look forward to for him, I guess. But I'm going with you here, too, man. I've got the Patriots winning this game. Miami, I don't think they're going to figure it out. I don't know. I don't think Mike McDaniel is going to be there much longer. Like you said, Tua might not be, or Tyreek might not be there much longer. Tua may get hurt again. You just never know with Tua. Give me the Patriots in this one on the road to win the AFC division. And Gordon did not send me a pick on this one. He's the only one he didn't send a pick. So I don't know who he would pick on this one. So
we give him the Dolphins.
We give him the Dolphins. Gordon picks the Dolphins for the record. You don't get your pick in, we make a pick for you. So you're getting the Dolphins. Watch the Dolphins freaking win this game. You know what I'm saying?
I know. That's why I'm like, man, we probably just jinxed ourselves.
Probably did. We're sitting here just talking all the smack about him, and here we go that he's going to end up winning this because of that. Our next matchup, and boy, this one kind of got a little interesting here. The San Francisco 49ers travel to New Orleans to face the New Orleans Saints at 1 o'clock on Fox. San Francisco was a 3.5-point favorite. Mac Jones is going to be your starting quarterback for the Niners. Gage, who you like in this one?
Neither team, actually. You know what? The Saints came out last week, and I checked ESPN at one point. I think they were up 7-3 against the Cardinals at one point.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoa. Spencer Rattler, okay, what's going on here? And then it promptly all fell apart for them. But you want to talk about falling apart, the 49ers, the body parts are falling apart for them. Purdy's out, Kittle's out. They got a new kicker. Outside of that, McCaffrey might play, he might not play. We don't even know. He might actually not be a game-time decision this week, and we're just calling it that because he probably likely is still a game-time decision. The one thing that the Saints did last week that I highly don't recommend, especially for their quarterback play, they asked Mr. Rattler to throw the ball 46 times, and he completed 58.7% of those passes. Now, I don't know about you, and I don't know how you would feel if Jake Browning came into the game and started and they asked him to throw the ball 46 times. I think he would do better than what Spencer Rattler did. But if I'm a team that doesn't have that good of quarterback play at the moment, I'm not taking the ball out of my star players' hands and Alvin Kamara or even Taysom Hill to make this man throw the ball, and you don't know what's gonna happen. But with that all being said, I have no idea. Let's go to the CMC run team. I'm not calling it the Mac Jones run team, but even though when Mac Jones played last year for Jacksonville, he wasn't horrible. So give me the Niners, give me the point.
So the Niners head to New Orleans. We've talked about the injuries. Brock Purdy, turf toe, shoulder, pinky, whatever. Mike Jones is starting. George Kittle on the IR with a hamstring, or he's out 4 weeks, whatever it is. Jawan Jennings, he's questionable. He may come back and play. Maybe, I don't know. San Francisco's defense looked pretty good last week. Carried them to the win last week pretty much. Christian McCaffrey, 142 all-purpose yards on 32 touches. Like you said, will he play? Is he going to be a decision? Is he going to be on the injury report? Why not? Everybody else is on the injury report. You mentioned Spencer Rattler throwing 46 times. Kellen Moore needs to realize who his quarterback is. This isn't Philly anymore. He's in New Orleans. This is a whole different ballgame. With that being said, defense travels. Give me the Niners in this one. I like them to win. I think that they cover that spread. The Saints are just bad. They're just a bad team. If they played the Browns, it would be, I'm probably picking the Browns. I mean, that's how bad this team is right now. So, give me the Niners.
I got to say real quick.
Gordon's got the Niners.
My parlay is 3 Jaden Daniels passing yards away from hitting. They are at the 2-minute warning. They're getting the ball back. If they pull Jaden Daniels because they're down 2 scores, I might throw my phone.
If it makes you feel any better, I saw Austin Eckler get carried off the field a while ago. He has 2 catches. I need him for 3.
I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So, Gordon picked the Niners as well. The next matchup, the Buffalo Bills travel to New Jersey to face the New York Jets. Sunday, 1 o'clock on CBS. Gage, what are we thinking for this matchup? The Bills are a 6.5-point favorite.
You mentioned it earlier. Justin Fields didn't look half bad last week. However, I will say on the flip side, the Steelers always have trouble with a running quarterback. Case in point, Lamar Jackson. Case in point, the other time that Justin Fields played Pittsburgh when he was in Chicago, he almost beat Pittsburgh. So I give very little weight onto that game. Buffalo came back last week and erased a 15-point deficit in, the last 4 minutes of the game. I think that this is going to be a close game, but not really. I'm going to take the Bills. What'd you say the spread was?
6.5 for Buffalo.
6.5. I'll take them to cover. I think probably 7 points, maybe 9 points.
So Buffalo last week, they're riding high. Josh Allen, 494 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Keon Coleman had a big game, over 100 yards receiving, his biggest game as a pro. The Jets had a good game. They almost pulled off the upset against Pittsburgh. 32 points against that defense. Garrett Wilson, Jalen Ramsey kind of got the last laugh there. Those two were at it like all game long. But him and Fields, they played together at Ohio State. They've kind of got that chemistry going. Breece Hall had a decent game as well. This game's at home. This is a perfect spot for a Bills letdown. Early on in the week, coming off of the big Sunday night game. I'm going to do it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the New York Jets gets a huge win. Aaron Glenn's first win as a head coach comes against the Buffalo Bills at home in week 2 of this NFL season. Give me the Bills, or give me the Jets straight up against the Buffalo Bills. Let's go.
Whoa.
Gordon has the Bills. So there's that.
So You're riding solo out there.
Riding solo, out here on the island by myself. We'll see how that goes for me. Some went okay last week, I guess, but our next game we're going to go to. Well, was
I was just gonna say better than me.
By one game. The next game, a game near and dear to your heart. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Pittsburgh to face the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1 o'clock on Fox. Gage, this is the DK Metcalf Bowl here. What do you think about it?
So 2 revenge games already so far. Joe Flacco going back against Baltimore, and Ben Johnson going back against the Lions. Revenge game number 3 comes with DK Metcalf getting 100-plus yards against the Seahawks and his first touchdown in the black and gold. Aaron Rodgers, we mentioned it earlier, looks phenomenal. The defense, on the other hand, not so much. But last week, Sam Darnold held to under 200 yards, a very bad passer rating. The only real target was Jackson Smith-Njigba, and he had one play down the sideline that accounted for about 25% of Sam Darnold's yardage. If they can stop Smith-Njigba, I think it'll be okay. Darnold's not known to be a running quarterback. They got 2 good running backs in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Both of them were held, I believe it was 40 and 47 yards respectively. Charbonnet did score on the ground, but I think the Steelers go and end this one 2-0 and are tied for first place with your Bengals. Give me the Steelers in this one and give me the points.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh last week, we talked about it at the beginning. Rodgers looked great. DK had a pretty good game. Seattle, on the other hand, didn't play the best against the Niners. But, I mean, it's to be expected. We all thought Sam Darnold got his success from being with Kevin O'Connell in that system last year. He's not in that system anymore. If you're Pittsburgh in this game, don't you just, become Blitzburgh once again and just blitz Sam Darnold? Because we know he cannot handle a blitz at all, which was evident last year at the end of the season. When he was blitzed, he was seeing ghosts again, like he was back in his Jets days. Jalen Ramsey, he'll get the challenge of covering Jackson Smith-Njigba. We'll see how that goes for him. I think that it should be pretty favorable for Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh to win this game here. I've got them winning, and I've got them covering. And let's see, Gordon, he has Pittsburgh winning as well. So,
Smart man.
Once again, he's not in first place for nothing in these pick'ems. And that brings us to our next game. The Los Angeles Rams travel to Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans. Got to start writing these spreads down. 5.5 is the spread for the Rams. Gage, what do we think here? Titans looked pretty decent last week against Denver.
They did, and if I was the Titans, I would be looking for 51 new NFL players to surround Cam Ward because no one could catch a cold last week from him, let alone a pass. Granted, the receivers probably aren't used to a football hitting them in the hands. I will give them that. But there is no reason why Cam Ward should not have had 4, 5, maybe 6 more completions in that game. And who knows, maybe the outcome would have been different if they were able to catch it. There's a video of Cam Ward's dad in the stands, gets up, goes over to the railing, and is like, oh my God, like this is awful. Why did I let my son get drafted to Tennessee? I should have told him to be just a little bit worse in his senior year in college. And then you got the Rams, who they pulled it out last week, surprisingly enough, against the Houston Texans. Great defensive game, who would have thought? But there's something to be said about only putting up 14 points as the Rams and not looking complete. Now, the question is, does Cam Ward actually have people that can catch this week? I don't know, and I'm not going to put a lot of faith into it. Give me Matt Stafford in the LA Rams and give me the points as well.
Matt Stafford, did he become the 10th player to get 60,000 yards? I think that happened this past week. So big milestone for him there. But Cam Ward, on the other hand, the least talked about number 1 pick, and he come out and he played decent. I mean, if you're going to come out your first game of your career and go against a defense like the Denver Broncos and kind of hold your own, like you said, if he had a little bit of help out there, who knows? They may have come out with a win in that game. I mean, it was really close. Cam Ward's dad, hilarious out in the stands like that. Like, I feel for you. You're on that team, and you're going to be bad for a while. I don't think Brian Callahan, he used to be a former Bengals offensive coordinator. Don't think he's going to be a good head coach there. He hasn't proven anything yet. So I think that this game here, the Rams, Jared Verse had a pretty good game last week too. But once again, he's going to. I think he's going to have another big game again. Cam Ward's going to get to know him pretty well. I like the Rams in this one. I like the Rams to cover. Gordon also has the Rams in this one. Our next matchup we're going to head to, and man, there are a lot of 1 o'clock games, but now we're heading to a 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock game. Boy, a 2 o'clock game would be kind of strange, wouldn't it? And it's the Carolina Panthers traveling to Arizona to face the Arizona Cardinals at 4:05 on CBS. Gage, what do we think about this one here? The Cardinals are a 6.5 point favorite, by the way. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. So this one, I don't know. I talked up the Panthers so much last week, and then they just went out and disappointed not just me, but their entire freaking fan base. To where the Cardinals, my only question is, can Kyler Murray look good 2 weeks in a row? He hasn't done it yet in his career. Maybe this is the first time he does it. Trey McBride looked fantastic. The running game was there. It wasn't fantastic, but it was there. I've talked about it on this show before. Trey McBride is my number one tight end in the NFL. He's also my number one tight end in fantasy. So let's hope to keep this trend going. I believe he went 5 for 56 last week. Still looking for his first touchdown, and hopefully he gets it sooner than when he got it last year. The Panthers, like I mentioned, disappointed me last week. Can't pick them this week because of that. So give me the Cardinals, give me the points. And yeah, Kyler Murray looking good for 2 weeks in a row. What's going on?
Bryce Young had multiple turnovers last week. The offense was just bad. The defense did better against the pass, but you can run on that defense. Me and you can get some rushing yards on that defense. But that's not good. Arizona last week looked pretty decent. Didn't have a huge win against the Saints. Marvin Harrison Jr., hey, he's got all the potential in the world. He's going to break out, going to be the breakout star again. I'm pretty sure we've talked about that, right? He's going to be a breakout star. We may have mentioned it once or twice in passing.
Yeah, I don't really remember.
So, McMillan, you've got him on your fantasy team, right, I think, for the Panthers?
Yeah, you know what? For the longest time last week, he had like 3 catches for 18 yards. I was like, man, maybe I made the wrong choice. And then kind of stat padded a little bit, ended with a solid day.
Yeah, not too bad. I think he was at 7 catches for like 60-some yards, I think it was. Not a bad day.
No, and you know what? First game in the NFL, we'll take it.
Right. So this game kind of is, I think I kind of believed a little bit in the Panthers last week too, but I don't believe in them this week. I've got Arizona winning this game as well. I think the Panthers cover, though. I think it's going to be closer than 6.5. And Gordon also has the Cardinals winning.
Man, we are really just going on the same teams here for the most part.
The next matchup, 4:05. The Denver Broncos travel to Indy to face the Indianapolis Colts at 4:05 on CBS. Gage, last week, the Indianapolis Colts quarterback Daniel Jones was a very hot topic on one of your picks. What do we think about this matchup? And you got anything to say about Daniel Jones this week on here?
No, I am not going to trash talk. I believe someone who runs this show put out a YouTube short last week about me going in on Daniel Jones, and boy, did I really regret that at halftime of the Colts Dolphins game, let alone at the end of the game. Danny Dimes was dropping dimes. He looked phenomenal. I'm really afraid to pick one of these teams because I have a feeling whichever one I pick is going to absolutely play like trash, and the other one's going to be like, ha, 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 should have picked us. So, I'm not going to make the mistake that I made last week. I'm going to go with the Colts, unfortunately. Give me the Indianapolis Colts. Give me the points. Daniel Jones is good for the second straight week in a row, and I hate saying that, but yeah. But I think it's going to be the last game he's good at.
Wow. So before you made your pick here, I had wrote down that I was going to go with the Colts, but let's see how I finish this one out. Denver's defense last week held Tennessee to 133 yards. They had 6 sacks. I mean, that defense, man, what can you say about that defense, right? I mean, they were locked in. Daniel Jones for the Colts last week was perfect. Almost perfect, right? He led a scoring drive every drive Indy had the ball. which was like, is that the first time in history or the first time since the 90s or something crazy like that had happened?
Wouldn't surprise me if it was the first time ever. So,
Uh,
yeah, I'm going to roll with that because it sounds better.
It does sound better. But, man, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, out here just proving haters wrong. Just hating on him all the time. Yeah, I don't know who would hate on him like that because, I mean, it's Danny Dimes. Like, he was he was in New York. He had Saquon, didn't play so well, went to Minnesota, and, the Colts took a chance on a young man like that, and, man, what a story, right? What a story. Broncos beat the Colts this week, and they cover the spread. Give me the Denver Broncos in this one. And Gordon has the Colts in this one, too. So he also believes in Danny Dimes.
What, you just like being different or something? Come on.
Defense travels, once again. I'll say that again.
Danny Dimes is going to light it up this week and make it be like Denver doesn't even have a defense.
But I will say this, though. A little nickname we had last year for Bo Nix that you coined on this show. Bo Pix showed up once again last week, and he looked like Bo Pix again. He didn't play very well.
Yeah, he definitely struck again in a big way.
Yeah.
Not a good way either.
No, not at all. So that'll lead us to our last. There's only 3 4 o'clock window games, and this is the big game of the week, 4:25, and it is the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Chiefs in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Philly's a 1.5-point favorite on the road. Gage, who you like?
Neither team. I hate them both. And I think a meteoroid should hit the stadium, make the game unplayable. No one gets hurt. We don't want anyone to get hurt.
No,
but
not
make the game unplayable, and it just gets postponed, right? This is, if you're watching on YouTube and you see the graphic, we got the Christmas game going with the red and the green. Revenge game of last year's Super Bowl. Can the Chiefs get revenge? I don't know. Is Xavier Worthy playing? I don't know. Who's Mahomes' number one receiver after that? Juju? That's what I'm thinking. I don't like that, so give me Philly. Yeah, the Chiefs go to 0-2, I believe, for the first time under the Mahomes era.
I can't get the sight of last year's Super Bowl out of my head when thinking about this game right here. I know it's at Kansas City. Kansas City's coming back. It's their first game on U.S. soil this year. They played bad last week against the Chargers. And the Eagles didn't play the best against the Cowboys, but, I mean, they still won. Hurts, had a multi-touchdown game running. That defense, man, is still really good, even though they give up a bunch last week. But I think Jalen Carter's going to be a big difference in this one. We don't really know what the Chiefs are yet this season. Give me Philly once again. I'm with you. A Philly special rematch of the Super Bowl. Like I said, I can't get that last year's Super Bowl out of my head and the beatdown that they give them. I don't think it's going to be that quite levels in this one here. I think it's going to be closer this time. But I think Philly wins by a touchdown in Kansas City this week.
And maybe A.J. Brown will have more than one target.
Oh, my. He's got to, right? You've got to target him more than that.
You would hope so.
Gordon has the Chiefs winning. So, there's a different one.
Gordon, what are you doing? What do you know that we don't?
I don't know. He's first in here for some reason. I don't know. He knows something we don't know. And that leads us to Sunday night game, and that is the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Minnesota to face the Minnesota Vikings. 20 on NBC each. Who we like in here because the Falcons are a 3.5 dog. And so is a 3.5 point favorite. Yeah.
So this is the fifth and final revenge game of the weekend. It is a J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr. national title rematch from college football. I'll tell you what, Michael Penix last week, I didn't think played bad. Maybe there's a little bit of hope that Penix turns into a Michael Vick, a lefty. He's a runner. Other characteristics about him that I don't want to say on this show, but hey, you know what? They
like dogs, right?
Yeah, they like dogs. You know what? The one likes dogs. The one is a dog. It all works out. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. No, sorry. Switch it up. Let's go with the Falcons on this one. J.J. McCarthy, like we mentioned, played good in the fourth quarter last week. It took him a little bit to get used to it. He threw a touchdown pass to the Bears, but yeah, I mentioned it last week. He's shown me nothing. He's still kind of shown me nothing. Penix has a little bit shown me something. I'm not looking forward to this game at all. I don't think that it's going to be a good primetime game. I don't know what the NFL was thinking in making this schedule.
So last week, yeah, like you're saying, I don't know why they're in prime time once again. The Minnesota Vikings, the first two games of the season, you're giving them Monday Night Football and then Sunday Night Football back to back. Okay, J.J. McCarthy last week did not look very good. I think that I cut out a short maybe on here and put out that, I thought maybe J.J. McCarthy wasn't that good. He wasn't that great in college. It wasn't the reason they won the national championship. Maybe I'm a little vindicated. I don't know. I didn't, he didn't completely make me look horrible or anything like, Danny Dimes did certain people. The Falcons, on the other hand, dominated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in yardage. But in key moments, Younghoe Koo, which I don't know how you get Younghoe out of that name. This is a field goal there, which was a big field goal right there for him. And they fall to the Bucs. I think I like Atlanta in this one too. I think that Atlanta looks like the better team so far. Minnesota's got a good defense. We know that. Atlanta's defense isn't too bad either, but I think Atlanta's got the better offense, which is weird to say because I think the best player on the field is probably Justin Jefferson, but he's got J.J. McCarthy throwing to him. So what do you pick here? What do you do? Bijan's a pretty good player as well too. So I like Atlanta to win this one, and I think that though they cover because they're the underdog. Gordon also has Atlanta, so like when we go underdogs here, we're always seems like on the same page. It's strange, but yeah.
I'm very surprised though that Younghoe Koo was not the second kicker that we saw cut from our roster this week after the very bad timing on his missed kick.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because it's week one. I don't know. I used to have Younghoe Koo in my fantasy team for several years. He was pretty reliable, but I don't know, man. These kickers, I don't know. Why are you paying them? Why are we paying these guys? What are we paying these guys for?
Unless your name is Chris Boswell and name me a better kicker in the league. I can't. You better earn your money because, boy, some of these kickers, they're good their first, second year, and then, die right off.
Yeah, that's like mid-Mac. That's what he's been. Like his first year, he was great, and then after that, he's dropped off.
And then you got some kickers like Nick Folk, who, when he strolls onto the field, you think someone's grandpa accidentally threw on football pads, walked right in there, and he's still kicking. Couldn't tell you how many seasons he's played, but man, he's still kicking.
I didn't even know he was still in the league until you're like, here comes old Grandpa Folk out, and I'm like, oh, well, he's still kicking? He's still alive and kicking? Well, that's cool.
I agree. Did not know he was the kicker for them.
And that will take us to our next matchup, and that is Monday Night Football at 7 o'clock on ABC ESPN. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Houston to face the Houston Texans. Gage, what do we think here about this matchup? The Houston Texans are a 2.5 home favorite.
Let's be honest. We know the Texans have a really good defense. We have heard that from other people in the past.
Yes.
But last week, Baker didn't look the best. He was inaccurate on certain throws. But the one bright spot, Emeka Egbuka, 2 touchdowns in your NFL debut. Is he the team's number one receiver? I feel like that crown still has to go to Mike Evans. But Egbuka is so far in line to take over that number one spot, which is weird to say, especially against Mr. Consistent. But with Chris Godwin hurt right now, who can go wrong with this tandem of Evans and Egbuka? You can't. Yeah, he balled out last week. He's going to do it again this week. The Texans' offense looked, we mentioned it earlier, very awful against a Rams defense that isn't great by any sorts of imagination. And C.J. Stroud thinks that he can get it done just with field goals? Like, come on. You were awful last year. Let's pick it up a little bit this year, shall we? But I don't think it's going to start this week. Give me Tampa Bay, and obviously being the underdogs, give me the points as well.
Yeah, the Bucs, they pulled out a late win on the road against Atlanta, which we just talked about, with the explosive, exciting rookie wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, coming out there and getting 2 touchdowns, which, by the way, he is on my fantasy team, and I had him on the bench. So there's 24 points just sitting on the bench. No problem. I won anyway, which was good, but still, so he's in the lineup this week, obviously, but, he's bound to have a letdown against that Houston defense. Man, who's on that Houston defense anyways, Gage? Give me some players on that Houston defense while I'm sitting here talking about this game.
We got Will Anderson.
Yes, Will Anderson. Daniil Hunter.
Daniil Hunter. Derek Stingley.
CJ GJ. I think he's hurt, though. Petrie. There's
yeah.
Lassiter.
Last Kamari, yep.
Yeah. Al Shafir.
Yep, Headhunter.
Yeah. Al Jazeer. I can't remember what his name. Anyways, all the names over there.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the ball, what is it?
We got no one knows him but Kalen Bullock. And then
Somebody knows Caleb Bullock, I can tell you.
how can you forget about him?
Yeah.
And then I believe this guy played for Bama, Henry To'o.
Yeah, I thought it was 2-2. But he had a pretty big sack last week, I believe. I think I saw on Red Zone. But that their strength is definitely defense. It's the other side of the ball. Running back. Joe Mixon's out. Nick Chubb didn't do really a whole lot over on that side. C.J. Stroud really couldn't get things going. Will that continue this week? I think they'll have a little bit better week. Tampa Bay's defense isn't as good, but I think Tampa Bay's offense carries them in this one. Give me those Tampa Bay Buccaneers to down those Houston Texans. You got a good defense, but you don't have that good of a defense. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers once again. Shout out to Steve by Sports by Compion, who I was on the show this past week, and we chatted a little bit, and he's a big Buccaneers fan. So maybe that's why I've turned a little bit and have, because I've always picked against Tampa Bay. I'm going Tampa Bay in this one. I think Tampa Bay wins, and of course they cover because, hey, they're the dogs. And that leads us to the grand finale for Week 2, and that is the second Monday Night Football game, and that is between the LA Chargers traveling to Vegas to face the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chargers are a 3.5-point favorite on the road. What do we think about this one?
I just want to first point out a 10 p.m. start time here on the East Coast. This game ain't getting done until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. But we got the LA Chargers pulling out a big win last week that someone on the show predicted against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Raiders didn't look great by any sorts of imagination. And I believe Brock Bowers is questionable for this game. So if he's hurt and he's out, that's a big hit to the Raiders offense. However, I'm riding currently a Chargers win streak, and I can't go away from my guys. Give me Justin Herbert. Give me the Chargers in this one. Big game, Monday Night Football in Vegas now. And yeah, give me the Chargers. Give me the points.
Well, the last game, Gordon picked the Texans, so he's out on an island on his own on that one. And this one here last week, Justin Herbert looked phenomenal against the Chiefs in Brazil. 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. L.A. just kind of handed it to the Chiefs, The other side, the Raiders, they played the Patriots. They got a win. Brock Bowers had over 100 yards receiving. Max Crosby, he was doing Max Crosby things over there. But will they be able to contain Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris, Justin Herbert? I mean, there's some players over on this team now, mixing some rookies in with some older folks and stuff. And I think that the Chargers will pull it off again. I think they win this game, divisional game. The Raiders, maybe they surprise us once again. Geno, who does he still throw to if Brock Bowers isn't there? Who's he going to throw to?
You still got Jacoby.
Still got Jacoby. Yeah.
He had a good game last week. 8 catches, 97 yards. I'll take that for the fantasy team who was sitting on the bench, but still, I'll take it.
And Ashton Genty ran pretty hard last week, too.
Yeah. Scored his first touchdown.
Yeah. So, I mean, this may be a closer game than what we think, but I think that the Chargers win. I think it will be a closer game. I give the Chargers a win, but a Raiders cover. It's 3.5. I can see a field goal. Gordon also picks the Chargers to win this matchup here.
That gives me hope for my pick.
Whatever Gordon's going with, we'll roll with too. So, that is it for our pick'ems this week. We'll see how we do on these. And, man, we can't do any worse than before, right?
I don't
Actually, we definitely can do worse than before.
Yeah, don't go there with that one because I'm very scared now. You just put the jinx on us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I've probably said in this podcast that, it's going to have to be a lot of clipping or something like that. Or we may just leave it all in. I don't know. But, yeah, I'll say some stuff sometimes. Strange.
You never say anything controversial on this show.
No, there's no reason to. But so, what are you looking for? What game are you looking most forward to this week, Gage?
Well, I mean, obviously, I got to go to the Steelers-Seahawks game. I mean, that I wouldn't be a Steelers fan if I, said that. Didn't say that. Outside of that, it was actually kind of the game tonight. The Packers and the Commanders, and the Packers pulling out a 27-8 lead or win But if I had to pick a game that wasn't tonight, I don't know. I know we kind of dogged on the game a little bit, but Falcons and Vikings, I'm just interested to see the progression of Penix and McCarthy. Outside of that, I don't think there's any real heavy hitters this week. Looking at the schedule right now,
Eagles
there's
Chiefs.
Eagles Chiefs, but even that game, I mean, I just don't see it being a very high scoring game.
Tell you a game that I'm intrigued by. Of course, it's going to be the Bengals and Jags for me. But if I'm not looking at my team, the Bears Lions kind of intrigues me a little bit, just for the Ben Johnson revenge factor there to see, just kind of see if the Lions can get back to the way they were last year, or if Ben Johnson was responsible for most of that. It'd be interesting, I think, to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and I'll be interested if Dan Campbell throws in a little extra trick plays this week, just because it's against Ben Johnson.
I liked last week they showed like all the trick plays that they did last year and everything, and like they did absolutely nothing Sunday in that game. So maybe he'll pull out the bag of tricks and it'll be Dan Gamble again like he used to be.
Yeah, and maybe they'll bring Dan Skipper up for one game because somehow their starter magically got hurt in practice this week. And then we'll have a Dan Skipper passing touchdown.
Is Dan Skipper still a part of the Lions? I thought he might have got cut.
He did get cut, but I believe they re-signed him to the practice squad.
Yeah, so it would be a good time for a Dan Skipper because Ben Johnson loved him some Dan Skipper when he was up there. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I feel like they're just missing the boat on it if they don't do it.
Yeah, I would definitely do it because rub it in his face. Like, we don't need you. We could have done this without you.
Maybe they'll give him what Josh Allen had last year when he threw the ball to Amari Cooper and Amari Cooper tossed it back and Josh Allen ran it in. Dan Skipper will throw the ball to whoever pass catcher, and the pass catcher will fool him, and Dan Skipper will dive for the pylon and score a touchdown.
I'd love to see that. I would love to see Dan Skipper diving for the pylon for a touchdown. That would be a sight to see.
I might have to go on DraftKings right now and put in
anytime touchdown.
Yep.
Make it the yelling from the couch special right there. Well, that'll do it for us here this week. We will see you all next week with our Week 3 pick'ems. We may get better at these picks. We may not, but we're going to have fun either way. Picking them, yapping about them, everything else. And everybody, if you would, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've been getting more and more every week, seems like. Check us out on Spotify if you don't want to see our faces. Apple, Heart, anywhere you get podcasts. They're everywhere out there. All the places have us on them. They get sent out whenever this gets sent out. So go check us out. And that'll do it for this week here. Everybody, be nice to each other. It doesn't take much to be kind. Just be kind. And we'll see you all later.